So where do you think that the idea that people should get time off and that the workday shouldn't go on for 12 and 14 hours, where did it come from?
I don't know, but it's a bad idea.
Is it?
They need to work 24 hours a day. I want to make them slaves.
Wait, no, first of all, he's wearing a shirt. This is Amazing Tar Baby. Jesse is the best troll.
This is funny because the other guy's shirt says Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And then Jesse's wearing a shirt that says
Amazing Tar Baby.
It's like he came to clown. It's like Jesse Lee triggers these people.
Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel.
Oh, thank you for the birthday wishes. And it's the first time I ever got any comments where no one called me a coon. They just said happy birthday. But Danielle got me a birthday gift.
I did.
One of my favorite shows.
I got Dukes of Hazzard, you guys.
You can see it.
Kara loves Dukes
She
of
gave
Hazzard.
me the complete series of Dukes of Hazzard. Remember when shows used to be just fun? And we all used to just laugh. It was mindless fun before everything became, controversial.
Yeah. And now they blur out like the Confederate flag.
Because the General Lee had a Confederate flag on top, and black people used to watch that show all the time. I used to watch it with my uncle.
Right.
And so
most black people watch Dukes of Hazzard, but now can't watch Dukes of Hazzard.
The Duke boys are canceled.
Yeah, I don't get it. This show was good though. It's like mindless fun.
It's like the Beverly Hillbillies for the 70s and 80s.
It really is. I love this show. So Kara told me to watch. Have you guys seen the Netflix documentary about what's it called?
It's called The Greatest Moment in Pop or something like that.
Yeah, so it's about the We Are the World. Because you know what? They try to make that more of a touching type of documentary. But I'm gonna be honest with you, it was pure comedy to me. Because to see all these celebrities together with the egos was amazing.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson trying to get Lionel Richie to pet Bubbles, his chimpanzee, snakes all over the place.
He's like, I don't want to pet the animal, okay? I don't want to pet the monkey. Just like, we just move on.
They were doing the most and all the diva behavior. It was just too much, you guys. The egos in one room was a lot. Stevie
Wonder trying to change the lyrics at the last moment. Al Jarreau was drunk.
You was drunk.
Bob Dylan was afraid to sing.
So funny.
It's hilarious. I watched it yesterday and I said, oh man, this is good. And they all start giving each other autographs. Like they can't even be famous. We can't even be around their own people and not try to be famous. They all start, Diana Ross asked one person to give, I think it was Huey Lewis or something, to give her an autograph. And they all start giving each other autographs.
All these celebrities, 40 celebrities.
They can't stop being celebrities. They're just
so funny. You guys, it's just unbelievable.
They seem so incredibly, the reason why it's funny is because they're so incredibly full of themselves. And the whole premise is to give to a nation that has nothing.
Right, to Africa.
And all of these black celebrities with all this money.
Man, y'all.
Are acting so self-important.
Kara told me to watch that, so I watched it. I watched it without her. Right, and then I was like, oh, no, we gotta watch this together. So
watch it, it's hilarious. It's called The Greatest Moment of Pop.
Yeah, it's great. Netflix, watch it.
It's really good. Quincy Jones, I mean, it's just everybody who was a part of it. Quincy Jones, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson.
Prince didn't want to come.
Prince didn't want to come because he was acting like a diva. It was really...
It's really quite something,
really
guys.
Quite spectacular.
Let's get into the show. Jesse Lee Peterson. You guys always want us to look at Jesse Lee Peterson, I swear. It is like y'all asked us to watch Jesse Lee Peterson more than anything, right? And so I have a clip of, this is an older one, right? That Black Lives Matter guy. We also have a Jesse Lee Peterson playlist. If you guys want to see our reactions to his other videos. So, all right, so let's look.
You are a member of Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
And how long have you been a member?
Again, since 2014.
And did you know that Black Lives Matter was an organization that was founded by a bunch of fat black lesbians who hate God, who hate the family, order of the family, who hate the unborn child, and they admitted, at least one of them, that they're a Marxist group and they've been trained to do what they're doing. Did you know it was founded by some fat black lesbians?
Wow. So, okay. So first of all,
did you know that?
What we're not going to do is insult folks, right? So.
Well, they claim to be lesbians and they fat and they're black.
Well,
I didn't do it.
So.
But did you know that it was founded by them?
Well, yes, but also too, like I said, we're not going to insult them. That's not cool, right? So don't do that again.
Would they consider that an insult?
Yes.
Why would they claim to be that? Why would they consider it an insult?
Well, time out.
I've interviewed them.
So again, like I said, like we're not going to talk about them like that.
But you knew it was founded by them, right? Before you
yes,
joined.
I personally know them, right? So we're going to stop that part.
And you knew that before they joined. What made you join, knowing that? Because normally men don't follow women like that. What made you do it?
Well, so I want to touch on a couple of points that you brought up.
All right.
Right. So first off, right, like I think, well, you're a working man, right? You have people who work here.
Yes.
Do you know why you get weekends off, or why people have weekends off?
Right.
I'm asking you.
Rest. To rest. Supposedly to rest.
Oh,
to reflect and take care of things around the house.
Okay, cool. And I'm assuming that people typically might work, you for full-time folks, 8-hour work days.
Some of them, the lazy ones don't, but
yeah, right. So that right. So where do you think that the idea that people should get time off and that the workday shouldn't go on for 12 and 14 hours, where did it come from?
I don't know, but it's a bad idea.
Is it?
They need to work 24 hours a day. I want to make them slaves.
Wait, no, first of all, he's wearing a shirt that says Amazing Tar Baby. I can't even go with it. This is a bad idea. Jesse is the best troll.
This is funny because the other guy's shirt says Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And then Jesse's wearing a shirt that says
Amazing Tar Baby.
It's like he came to clown. It's like Jesse Lee triggers these people. Like he purposely does it. Why do you think he wore that shirt?
I know.
He chose to wear that shirt when that guy. He likes to trigger these people.
He's brilliant, yeah.
Wow.
But somebody came up, probably some stupid union or something.
Whoa.
But,
Okay. So time out, right? So you said somebody founded some union.
I said probably some stupid union came up with that idea.
Well, so I think the challenge, right, is that those like having a day off or having days off, right, like and having 8-hour work days is ideas informed by Marxism, right? The Communist Manifesto specifically speaks to the worker. That was created, right, like, and that is what led to the creation of unions that protect people's labor. So I wouldn't necessarily frame that as a bad thing, because I think most of your viewers kind of enjoy their days off. So they have Marxists to thank for that. So I just want to let you know.
Are you a Marxist?
Am I a Marxist? I think what I am, right, is I'm somebody committed to the liberation of oppressed peoples globally.
Are you a capitalist or a Marxist?
I'm definitely not a capitalist, no.
Are you a Marxist?
I think what I am is I'm somebody committed to the liberation of oppressed
But
peoples.
I'm asking you, are you a Marxist?
Again, like I said, it's not that simple.
Isn't it amazing the mental gymnastics this guy is going through just to say he knows he's a Marxist, right? Like, I think this Patrisse Cullors.
No, they're all three.
They're all Marxists.
The Black Lives Matter manifesto, when they first, it said that they were trained Marxists, and I mean Patrisse Cullors on camera and on tape has herself saying that.
And but hearing him, he doesn't want to say it.
He doesn't want to say it because it's not Americans don't really
like
do
that.
Communism and things like that. So he's really trying to avoid that. But I always find it interesting that leftist people or people on the left, they never can just answer a question. They have to put you on this mental merry-go-round because they want you to jump on it with them, so they can get you so confused that you can't that you can't get off.
Yeah.
So that's why when you deal with like these people, you have to stay on point. That's why Jesse keeps saying, "Are you a Marxist or are you not?"
Yeah.
Because he wants him to get into a whole thing so he can get Jesse confused.
So Jesse often does this, where this is what makes him. We always say he doesn't get enough credit for his interviewing skills.
He doesn't.
Because Jesse Lee Peterson is one of the best interviewers out there.
He stay 10 minutes asking you the same question.
And that's why I like him, because he won't move forward until you answer a basic question that he's asking, because he knows you're trying to dodge it. And it's exactly what's happening here. And the guy's like falling right into the trap.
The truth is this man is a Marxist.
Yes, 100%.
And he follows women.
Yeah.
And
he's gross.
He's gross.
Are
you a socialist?
Have you read Cedric Robinson's Black Marxism?
No.
No.
Well, I'm just trying to find out about you. Are you a socialist or a Marxist? I think they're both pretty much the same, but which one are you?
What I am is I'm somebody dedicated to the liberation of all oppressed peoples.
And so you're not a capitalist, right?
No.
So you don't believe in earning your way and getting paid for your earning?
Well, I think the broader issue, right, is that people assume that that isn't in socialism, or people assume that that isn't in, right, like other economic forms
Right.
of being, when that's not the case. People work not only to earn their wage, but also too to earn their way into the community,
But not
right?
socialist people.
Well,
They are controlled by others.
time out. How about you define what you think socialism is?
It's people who want to control other people.
Okay, and where did you hear that from?
Common sense. When you look around, that's what
Time
they
out,
do.
time out. Is that common sense,
Yes.
or did you read it from somewhere?
No, it's common sense. I've been in the world for a while now, and I see how. I remember when the blacks were not controlled. I was born in Alabama on a plantation, and black people used to get married. They thought and did for themselves. They were not controlled by government. Because I didn't even know about welfare because blacks were not into that. They didn't have black leaders. They didn't accept all
When
this.
were you born?
They didn't accept all
What
this
year were you born?
wrongdoing. This is so long now. 49, I think.
Oh, you was born in 1949.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
so
let me just
and-
make this point though, because of time.
Okay.
And so blacks were individuals. They thought and did for themselves. They looked out for others when time of need at the right time. But when the so-called civil rights movement started, black people sold their lives over to the so-called black leaders and then the government. And now they are like groups, and they are being controlled by the government and by other people who are insecure, and they need a sense of security, so they keep blacks down in order to control them. But I want to know,
And
what
time
made,
out,
as
time
a
out, time
man,
out, time out.
what
What-
made you decide to
what-
follow Black Lives Matter? Because
what-
normally men don't follow women, especially radical women.
Well, before I go there, you had mentioned that in this transition in civil rights, or how you framed it, you had mentioned that that at some point black folks were self-sufficient, and because of civil rights stopped being self-sufficient.
Yes.
Um,
First of all,
so-
there's
oh,
no
oh,
such thing as civil rights, but they sold themselves over to
Okay,
that.
okay.
so-called
Hold on. So I think the challenge, and you had also said at a certain point that people didn't receive welfare, right? That people didn't receive it.
Never heard of it till I moved to the city.
Okay, so look, so now let's take those ideas and let's dive a little bit deeper.
Real fast
Right.
because we ran out of time.
Right.
We have some more guests coming up. But I'm enjoying talking to you.
Okay, well again,
I wanted.
But he has not actually even answered a question. He hasn't answered a question. I mean, like, he has not. Play this back. He has not answered a question really yet.
But that is the leftist way of talking. They never actually answer a question.
They repeat
Even in our
the question.
comments, we'll get people who get mad at us, and they never really they call us names, but they never give us
Yeah, they
a
never
point.
say
They never
that.
give us. They tell us that we're wrong, but they tell us why we're wrong.
Right.
They just call us names,
Yeah.
or they never really answer their own anger.
Yeah.
And so that's what happens here. If you look at any Marxist, even if it's like someone like AOC, they never actually answer any real questions. They duck and dive them because, like Barry Goldwater said, they like complication because complication creates control. If you can get people confused and angry, you can deceive them and control them. But if you keep it simple and to the point, and people can understand, they can make clear decisions.
Right.
And they don't want you to make clear decisions.
So he falls into a bit of a trap here because Jesse, because I know a lot of people don't understand or know before they even get on Jesse's show, is that he was raised on a plantation in the South, right? In a time where it was, racism was like prevalent and going. But like Jesse is saying, this is not how it was. Like he's saying that he knew what they were saying, but that's not how black people were actually living. And this is the interesting thing, is that people in our comments that were born when Jesse was born say the same thing. They say, I'm in the South, I was born in a situation, blacks and whites were not getting along. It wasn't that everyone was getting along. It was just that, Like, it wasn't as prevalent as the media was making it out to be. Although we do know there was racism.
And also, also I think the times, because I watch, there's also on Netflix, there is a documentary about Johnny Cash and Nixon and that whole thing about the Vietnam War. And Johnny Cash goes on to say that, because he was born the same time, around the same time Jesse was born, but he used to pick cotton in the South. You know what I mean? And they were dirt poor. And so a lot of people, what I got from that is that people in that generation or that time period really didn't, they were working hard. They really didn't have time to complain.
No.
Not white or black.
No.
That was the reason why they believed that things were starting to, like a lot of the Jim Crow laws were starting to fall off.
Naturally,
because black people were, and white people were starting to get along. You know, black people had their own business, so there really were no threat to white businesses because they were creating their own businesses.
So I've been doing a lot of research on this whole thing with the videos and because I hear so many people who are in their 70s or even 80s.
Our comments.
Yeah, in our comments and in real life, they're in this, there were 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, you know, that are older, that were in this time, in this situation. They say there was racism for sure, but it's not like they're making it out to be. Most of them, Jesse says it too, is they say that it became more racist when the Civil Rights Movement was happening. After the Civil Rights Movement was happening,
when the Martin Luther King came along, the Malcolm X,
they're saying that it started to get more racist when they came along. It seemed as though my understanding is that before that, although there was racism, it wasn't, I won't say that big a deal, because that's a bad choice of words, but you know what I'm saying. It wasn't as prevalent, like you can say. But it's like it's interesting just to hear that.
Right.
Because that's why I'm researching this. I want to know more about that time and the experiences of the people in the actual time. And I keep hearing that it wasn't like they're making it out to be.
No, what made you as a male decide to follow a bunch of radical women?
Well, I think...
Now, that's not normal. What made you decide to do it? What made you decide to do it?
I think the issue isn't whether or not, you know, like men can follow women's leadership. I know I can, because women can lead and women can do a damn good job leading.
So were they created to lead or follow?
Women were created to be full human beings.
Were they created to lead or to follow?
That women were created to be full human beings.
How about were they created to lead?
Again, you're doing that thing where you're saying...
Because you're not answering my question. You're a really smart guy. You get your doctoral.
Yeah.
You're a smart guy from UC Berkeley. So I'm asking you, were women created to lead or to follow?
Women were created to be full human beings. That's my answer.
I didn't ask that question though.
But that's my answer.
How are you going to get a good grade up at UC Berkeley? You can't answer a simple question.
Well, I think as somebody who is a researcher, the answer is never directly in, right, like the question. The question itself is the problem. So that's why I'm giving you a different answer.
What's the problem with that question?
Because the answer would then assume that we're like, well, if I say that, well, women are meant to follow, right, then that means that women are somehow incredibly subservient. That is not the case at all.
So even if it's true, you can't say it?
No, it's not true.
Well, if it's true, could you say it?
No, it's not true.
No, I didn't ask you if it was true or not. I said, if it was true, would you be able to say the truth?
Well, but that's not true.
I didn't ask you. I'm asking you, would you be able to say yes, the truth to that, if it was true?
Well, I'm not going to answer a hypothetical question because that's not true.
Amazing. So do you believe that Black Lives Matter?
I do.
So he still hasn't answered any questions.
No, I'm saying.
So we've been watching the video for almost 9 minutes, and he still has not asked. He still has not answered not one question.
No, he won't. He's not going to answer. This is what they do. This is what they do. Now, Jesse's right to mention that. Men following women is the most disturbing thing that is up there for me. For one of the most disturbing things I see. Whenever I see a man following a woman, it makes me uncomfortable. That is completely out of balance. You're out of your role. When you're out of your role, you become now the feminine one. Clearly, we're seeing a feminine male here. That's what he is. This is what happens when you flip the roles like that.
Black male leadership is lacking in the black community.
Yeah.
It just is. Many black men think that they are equal to women.
Yes.
And that is really what's wrong with our country, or our community. Black men, not the ones in our comments. Most of the black men in our comments are not that way.
They're alphas and stuff.
Particularly the left those black men.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was watching, I didn't really watch. I was watching a clip of it. But when Miley Cyrus won for the song "Flowers,"
Yes.
she was performing it on stage, and they panned out. And it's a feminist song. And they panned out to the audience, and John Legend and Terry Crews know all the words, and they're dancing like buffoons to a song that excludes them. And so often I see this in black men, because 2/3 of the Black Panthers are women. So they outnumber the men in that. And I didn't know that for a long time.
This is by design.
But so when you, and even Eric Mann, the guy who actually trained, Patrice Cullors and the 3 black girls who did the Black Lives Matter, he said he purposely goes after women. And women and women of color, and he does it on purpose because if you can make women leaders against their own men,
which is what's happening,
then it breaks down the family structure, and it definitely does. I mean, the part of being a Marxist is to break down. Have you ever seen the Feminist Manifesto? That's what it purposely is to do, to break down the family unit. And how you do that is you empower women and you break down men.
And that's what's happening. So in the black community, women are the matriarch is
queen.
And that's how you mess up a society. You have to first break down the man first. If you don't break down the man, you're not gonna be able to get anything done. So these Marxist people, they do that first. They attack the men first. Now what we have here is a feminine male. All those I would say all the men on the left. All of them.
Remember what Ellie Host told Ellie Host, he interviewed the Hodge twins, and he said, do you ever think that they're like feminine, the men from the left? And he said, I think they're kind of like women, right?
Are they women? He said, are they women?
Aren't they like women? But it's true though. Yeah. Black people are the experiment for Marxism in America.
Yeah.
So if you're going to make everybody like this, we look at everybody who's not black. look at the black community, and this is what's going to happen if Miley Cyrus's song "She's White" becomes normal.
Yeah,
and it is starting to come normal because even white people are now starting to have a lot of single mothers and a lot. The feminists, it's all working, according to plan, and it starts with buffoonish men like this.
What does that mean?
Black Lives Matter means that black people and their full humanity, their lives should not be harmed or stolen by state-sanctioned violence.
Who does it matter to?
Black lives should matter not only to us, but to everybody.
Not sure, but who does it matter to?
Black lives matter to everyone. And
like who?
Everybody.
Like who, for example?
Everybody who's a contact in your phone, all the people here, whether we're talking about the state, whether we're talking about the government, whether we're talking about the police, whether we're talking about people in our community.
Does Black lives matter to black people?
Absolutely.
Why are they killing each other?
So to get to that point, I think, like when you talk about issues, especially of intra-communal violence, people kill who they're next to. Like people don't just go out and kill somebody because I'm killing you because you're black, Like when people commit harm, when people commit violent acts, it's oftentimes in retaliation to something or it was for a specific reason, And then when that happens, those people are then, put through the criminal justice system and prosecuted for it.
So black lives
time out. I'm not done talking. I'm not done.
If it's conditional, all right.
I'm not done talking, There are community organizations that have been fighting back against that type of violence for a very long time. Let's say, for example, here in Los Angeles, we have an organization like Second Call that was working against, that's been working to make sure that gangs don't have beef with each other. They work on ceasefires between neighborhoods that have been, working or that have been at war for years, So there are organizations that are doing the work to stop the intra-communal violence. So Black lives have always mattered to black people. Organizations like the Brotherhood Crusade, organizations.
But because of time, do black lives matter to those black people who are killing other little black children?
Yes, like black lives.
Yes, it matter.
Yes, black lives matter to black people.
Well, why are they killing those children then?
Again, like what you're missing in this broader thing is that, again, intracommunal violence is a broader challenge, like that we have worked on internally in our communities for years, Like people never ask those questions when white folks kill 85% of white people, that's not called white on white crime.
Does Black Lives matter enough to black people that they were?
So he's admitting that social programs over the years have not kept crime down in the black community. He's saying they do stuff and black people don't seem to care.
Right.
They still kill kids. They still kill each other. We still we're over the top on abortion. But what he won't admit is that it is because black men are not the head of women. They're not heading households. A lot of these kids in these inner cities are being raised without a father.
Yeah.
Their father's either dead, in jail, or just gone. Very few of them are being raised in a home with both their mother and their father. Social programs are not a substitute for your parents.
He's been faced with the whole crime question. See, the crime thing gets them all a little bit uneasy because black people are 13% of the population here in the USA, and they are 50% of the murders.
The homicide and
all the homicides that happen, 50%. Remember, think about the demographics. Okay, so 13% of the population is black in America, but they account for 50% of the murders.
murder.
Think about that. So
74% of black women that are mothers are raising kids by themselves.
So what we're having, what he's, so the thing is, what happens with black people like this, and even like when we get comments from black people who, you know, disagree with what we're saying, if you don't just take that statistic there, just that statistic there, and look at it, and then be able to tell the truth of what that means. When women are raising children on their own, what is likely, more than likely to happen, and which then does happen, is they're going to be alone. Because mom's out working and doing her thing, so she doesn't have time really to be all the time to be, you know, dedicate time to her children. And what happens is that kids look for something, and most of the time look for it in the neighborhoods. And the likelihood of them doing something that's criminal bumps way up if you're already in an inner city.
I was watching
It's
somewhere
already
where this
bumped
guy,
away.
yeah, I was
Sorry.
watching somewhere where this guy said this. I can't remember who it was. It was this white man, but he was saying that boys, he has a son and he has 2 daughters, and he said boys need something to do.
Yeah, they
my
do.
daughters actually, I didn't have to tell them to go get a job. Women just sort of do things. He said, well, boys need to be kind of pushed in that sort of area. You have to. He said you have to. He's like, my son, I can't just have him sit around just playing video games.
Right.
I can't have him do that. But men in general are structure, discipline, foundation. And when that's taken out of the home, you're just left with the feelings and emotions. And that's what women are. It's needed, but it's unfortunately, what kids can't live on feelings.
Yeah.
But the truth is that God did make man first, and he gave him dominion over the world way before. Then he made Eve. So Eve wasn't even there when he gave him that dominion. That lets me know that God intended on men to be leaders, to be ahead of us.
Encourage 2 parents in a home.
I think Black Lives Matter enough to black people to where it doesn't matter what kind of parents we have in the home.
But do they do Black Lives Matter enough for black people to encourage 2 parents in the home?
I think Black Lives Matter enough to black people to where we want to make sure that we build a better world for black children.
Do white lives matter?
So he's saying here, basically, that he doesn't think men are needed in the home.
Yeah, he just said it.
He won't even say that his own gender matters.
But why are we surprised when he's following black women? We can't be surprised. He's following women.
He's not even admitting that he, as a man, is
he won't.
needed in the community.
Yeah. No.
In a home structure, and he can't even say that.
You see how it works, y'all? You break down the man, you mess up society.
I think, yeah, like nobody would ever say that they didn't.
But do they?
Yeah.
Okay. Do Black lives matter when it comes to the unborn child or unborn children? Because there's 70% of parents Planned abortion mills in the inner cities, and they're killing black babies like 90 going north in the womb. Do those Black Lives Matter to Black Lives Matter people and other blacks?
Well, what about the mother? Because abortions are about the mother and the decision that mother makes, right, about what's happening with her.
But I'm asking you, do those Black Lives Matter to black people?
The Black lives that matter to black people are the Black lives that are currently existing.
But not those in the womb.
The Black lives.
I'm sorry to keep stopping this, you guys, but it's a lot going on here. But he just said that the abortion is what's what's going on with the woman. She has control of what's going on with her. Do you guys hear the selfishness in this? I mean, I feel like am I crazy? Because, when you're pregnant and then you decide to get an abortion and then you go, I have to think about myself.
How am I going
to? Not my choice, right? Because, not my choice that I made to go and sleep with somebody, unwed, and just not have safe sex, not even that. I'm going to go ahead and then get pregnant by accident. Right? And then guess what? After you learn that you're pregnant, no, it's not about the baby though. I have to worry about me. That is the most selfish thing that I've ever heard ever.
And that's also the weakness of a man to say that, because what he's saying is, I want a woman to get an abortion because I really don't want to take care of it.
I don't want to
I want that option too.
Yeah.
That is, but just
all
think
the
about
selfishness.
It. Before birth control, abortion, sex education in school, Black women were getting married and having children within the covenant of marriage.
Right.
So were white women and any other woman in America.
Yeah.
That was a thing. The instant you start adding sex education, the pill,
condoms
and abortion,
in school.
condoms, and all these other things, then all of a sudden there's all these out of wed births. How can that be? That was supposed to be the thing. This will keep you from getting pregnant. And in fact, is all it's done is getting more women pregnant, and a lot of single motherhood, a lot of women getting abortion. Yeah. The pill doesn't work on everybody,
and no one's preaching abstinence. Look,
at all. That's
the interesting thing is that no schools right now are preaching like abstinence first. They're talking about how to prevent pregnancy or have a safe pregnancy, but no one's having the most important conversation to kids and young people to just be abstinent and don't do that.
The Black Lives, so all right, look, you want to talk about what's going on in the womb, let's go there. Why is it that Black mothers don't have access to maternal care? Why is it that Black mothers, when their kids are born, right, they go to hospitals and they don't have access to the resources? Serena Williams, right, who is a famous tennis player, almost died giving birth to her child, and she is a rich athlete, right? So before I stop, right, like, again, yes, black kids in the womb matter to Black folks, but the issue is that systems continuously treat us bad, right? So regardless, whether we're talking about abortions or even if we're talking about going through to give birth, right, like, kids are coming into this world in a racist environment. So before I answer that question about, yes, do Black kids matter in the womb? Yes, they do matter, and yes, Black kids do matter in the womb.
But not to Black
right?
Lives Matter. They don't care about that.
Well,
they made it clear they don't care about abortion.
Well, no.
They're in favor of abortion.
Talking about Black Lives Matter is in favor of Black women having autonomy over their bodies. That is a very different framing than saying that Black Lives Matter doesn't care about that. Because what we do know is that people get abortions for very different reasons. People don't just get abortions because they want an abortion. I support women making the healthiest choice for themselves.
How about abortion?
If an abortion is that, then yes.
Do you support same-sex marriage?
Yes, people should be allowed to get married to whoever they want to.
Amazing. That's mind-blowing. Isn't that like amazing? You got to admit that amazing, right?
What?
Being a Christian, you would support all that.
Well, so Jesus loved poor people. Jesus publicly defended.
He loved them enough not to kill them in the womb.
Jesus also loved a prostitute enough to defend her in public.
Right, but not to kill her.
Yeah, and he stopped people from killing her, a prostitute.
But you guys
in
are not
public.
stopping them from killing them in the womb.
Well, we're trying to stop people from killing us in regular life.
But not in the womb.
So again, right, like, I think the broader issue that you're trying to bring up and that you're trying to provoke is this idea that, for some odd reason, that to Black Lives Matter, the broader network or the organization, that other segments of Black folks and Black lives don't matter to them because we only care about police violence. I think that's what you're doing.
If Black men and women got married,
hold on for 1 second. I think the issue is that you're only thinking of this organization, and that since this organization isn't addressing all of those other things, right, like that for some reason, right, like that, like they don't think Black lives actually matter. Understand that Black people, Black communities, and other Black organizations have been addressing all of these same issues, right, like for decades. There was a work group right now here in LA County, led by a woman named Adoja, that's focused specifically on African American maternal health. Right, like, and
let me just say, because of time, I'm totally run out of time.
I
want to ask you real fast: if black men and women got married, would they then have to kill the children in the womb?
Well, I think the issue is, right, like, regardless if black men or women get married or not, is the woman going to be healthy enough to take that pregnancy to term?
Are you in favor of dismantling the police departments around the country?
I'm in favor of broader public safety, and police are not the ones who help to keep communities safe.
Are you in favor of dismantling the police departments?
I'm in favor of reimagining public safety so that way we can take that money that police
slow,
use.
and I don't know what that means. Are you in favor of dismantling police departments?
I'm in favor of building up departments of real public safety, and police are not that.
Do you believe that there's something called systemic racism?
That's what I've said this entire time.
And what is it?
Literally everything I just said.
What is systemic racism?
Well, it's one thing for one individual person to say a racist thing or do a racist thing. It's another thing
for a racist thing?
So let's say, for example, when George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, right? Like what happened was he was on the phone, like calling him all kind of different names, and then like proceeded to follow him.
So that's
right.
Just, he did not follow him for the reason you said.
Well, so time out. That was an individual act of racism. The systemic part, right, is that it took, over 30 days to arrest him, right? Then after taking that long to arrest him, then, right, like the case went to trial, and then he eventually got off because the legal system protected him. So that is the systemic part. The individual act was protected by the systemic part.
Do you believe in innocent until proven guilty?
I believe that our entire court and judicial system is problematic and that it needs to be changed.
I'm going to ask, do you personally believe in innocent until proven guilty?
Yeah.
Do you discriminate?
But what do you mean by discriminate?
Do you discriminate?
Well, again, right, like define discriminate.
You don't know what that means? You go to Berkeley?
No, I know exactly what it means, but
So
I think you have a very different understanding of words than I do.
No, I don't. That's what I'm asking you. Do you discriminate?
No, I don't.
You never discriminate?
No.
Amazing.
Oh, going back to that abortion thing he was saying, this is always the argument with people on the left, is that they say, oh, a lot of abortions are due to a result of molestation or rape, something along those lines. And the thing is that that's under 1% of the abortions that are being done, right? Those two incidences. Mm-hmm. So the 99% of abortions being done is because of poor choices from women.
Right.
I mean,
right, like.
Right, like.
And also the health habits of black women.
Yeah.
So they also have done studies on the fact that black women have poor health choices.
Yes.
They eat too much.
Yeah.
They don't exercise as much. And so that can contribute to your birth if you don't take care of your body.
Right.
And they're not adding that in.
And you may not go to term.
You may not go to term.
When he said
right.
that, yeah, you may not go to term.
Him to pick up Serena Williams, I mean, honestly, anything that happened to her could have happened to any white woman.
Yeah.
Pick one lady, one black woman
that
happens to be famous, but the great majority of black women are out of shape and have poor diets.
Yeah. And
it can hinder you from being able to carry a child. If you're not in shape or your body can't take it.
Right.
Not that they're like, he makes it look like black women are just going to the hospital and somehow white doctors that are watching them are just killing their babies.
Right. But this is how they make it sound all the time, is that
there's an excuse.
Yeah. And then this whole thing with the police and, defunding the police, all that. Well, we see the result of that. Smash and grabs and, people doing all kinds of, if you look at San Francisco, it's like a zombie territory. Looking at those videos of San Francisco alone, it looks like Los Angeles, period.
Yeah.
California, period.
Keep me out of New York or Los Angeles.
I'm so glad we left
New York.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like zombies out there. Look, when you decide when you want to support defunding the police, you're really supporting
crime.
No law and order, and I am not on board with that.
I mean, and that hurts us because in our neighborhoods are the worst, and a lot of good people live in these black neighborhoods. A lot of good black people live in these neighborhoods, and they're not being policed anymore because black people like him are telling them that they need to defund the police.
And we mentioned this with our Blanchard, that video we did with Blanchard Robinson, is that is what's happening. There's a lot of people in the inner cities that live in these, in the hood, I guess you can say, or in a project area, and that are good citizens, but they're in a situation financially where this is what they can afford. So we have good people. There's some good people in those communities, and when you take the police out of the situation, which need it the most,
then the gangs are running
then the gangs are going to be running the show. They're going to be running the show.
And he keeps going on. There have been people for years and years trying to help the black people with abortion, trying to help black people with crime. And yes, sir, it goes to show you it doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Why? Because it's not about programs and social programs. We have given so much money to social programs, welfare, to help the black community.
Welfare.
And all it's done is made us worse.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
And now all we have now is just more destruction and decay in the community.
And before we had all of that, when we had much more against us, as Thomas Sowell said, we had much more against us. We had much more racism, blatant racism, where white people go on, how black people treat white people in front of cameras today. That's how white people used to just call them. It's just the N-word, just loosely.
Yeah.
But we had someone in our comments, Danielle read a comment where a guy said something like, she said you are romanticizing Jim Crow.
Yeah,
and it wasn't my point. And I hate when people say that because that's not my point. I'm actually not romanticizing Jim Crow. It was a bad law. But what I'm saying is you have to explain to me how black people, when they had much more against them during Jim Crow.
And poor, a lot of poor.
And poor. Yeah. That their neighborhoods were not crime riddled. They didn't have a bunch of
wedlock,
black people went to work. There wasn't a big welfare crisis. So you have to answer that. Why during a time when we had much more against us, did we have better results, better schools, better homes, more money? We learned to do with less. Even white people did. Yeah. Materialism started when we started getting television, and even white people went off the rail with commercialism.
The advertising increase and stuff like that helped.
But before then, there was something called the thrifty wife. So most women took their husband's income,
whatever that was,
and worked with that. Black women did that too. Yeah. And so when you sit here and say you're romanticizing, I'm not romanticizing nothing. I'm asking you a specific question, which you didn't answer. Yeah. I'm asking you specific. Why, when we had more against us, did we have better outcomes?
And also what we had, you can add to fathers in the homes, and then go ahead and add in Christian values. Yeah. Okay, because people mostly went to church. What does that mean? When people mostly go to church and have Christian values and follow the Bible and do their best in that, that means that they have a healthy relationship with shame in the community. Meaning that if somebody in the community is behaving improper, indecent, criminal, those people were shamed. So most people were not that. Back in that time, there were trickles of bad people. And the majority of people were law-abiding citizens. Today, we have trickles of law-abiding, good, normal people. And now there's a massive increase of people who are criminals. This is not hard. You don't have to go to college and get a degree to understand.
You don't have to go to college at all. You have character, common sense.
And we lost our character. Completely lost our character.
God, you don't have to even have one of these white collar jobs. You could literally have a blue collar job and have some common sense and do better. We're turning these young people into idiots. I was just watching I was watching this black woman's getting married on Instagram. It's just like a TikTok thing, I think. I don't know what it is. But she's got like 11 bridesmaids. Yeah. And she chooses that moment to show that they're all doctors.
In some way.
And I just think that is not humble. That's arrogance. And it's rude. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's like, why are you doing that? You're flexing. You're trying to flex and it's not cute.
Y'all, there is a character problem in the black community. We have a spirit. This is a spiritual problem. This is spiritual warfare that's going on right now. Okay, so you can talk about the politics and all that stuff. I do believe politics plays a humongous part.
Not as much as what you're going to say,
but a humongous part, and I get it, politics. But this is a spiritual problem. This is not just a political problem. It's not about Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Okay, forget that for a minute. This is a problem. People do not have any real core belief in God, in Christ. They don't have it. And I see a lack of humbleness in people. And that lack of humbleness, to me, has broken our character.
And the problem is, like I said a long time ago, one of our very first videos, we used to do it on Facebook before we came to YouTube. And a friend of mine actually pushed back on me, saying that because I said single motherhood was bad. And then he went and said, well, my mother raised a strong black woman. I was like, so what you're saying is that your mother did not need help. And that I don't think your mother would say that.
No.
And see, what's happened though is black men stand up. A lot of black men, not all, but a lot of black men stand up for single motherhood because they come from one.
Yeah. So it's hard.
I come from a single motherhood, but I don't stand up for that. I love my mother. She did the best she can. I think my mother did a good job for a person doing it all by herself, off welfare. Yeah. She didn't even. My father didn't give her child support. She didn't have that. Mm-hmm. And I think she raised us the best she could, but we missed out on a lot without having a father.
And by the way,
that's why I'm not married. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, like. No, you're talking to two women in their 40s that aren't married, and a lot of that comes from the fact that we had no structure because we didn't have our dad. He didn't show us what to look for. He didn't show us what we should, what men look for, so we can be it. He didn't show us what to look for when we go out there, and I was confused. I didn't really understand, what I was supposed to be.
What happens when you don't have that structure? Okay, this is not an excuse; it's an actual reason. When you don't have that structure growing up, to have a man tell you what to look for and what to look out for, right? As a woman, as a young lady, as a young girl, a teenager, a young adult, and now an adult, right? If you don't have that, what happens is you learn late.
And a lot of women
and that's why people are like, oh, why are all these black women single? Because a lot of black women, and I am raising my hand, learned late. Okay, messed up, didn't know what to do. Look. All trial and error. Everything that I was doing was just completely off balance. I had no structure. Masculine, feminine was all off. It's a mess. Element of a man in the home, a strong man, a structured man. There can be some fathers that are in a home that are not even good fathers. I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about the real strong fathers.
And there are more of those than there are.
Yeah, there are more of those fathers in the home. And we really want to promote that because we know what it's like. We know what the road looks like. I hate to be preachy here, but I mean this with all of my heart. You really need to read the Bible. Let me tell you why. Because the Bible breaks down masculine, female, masculine and feminine, and male and female beautifully and naturally. And it is like a blueprint on how to live.
We've been doing this feminist thing in the black community, and it's been going on. This single motherhood thing has been going on for generations now. And now we've created a lot of men who have been raised by women. They go home. There's a woman. They go home. They see grandmother. They see their mother. They go to school. The teacher's most likely a woman. They go to church. It's 2/3 women. Now they got women pastors, and then they go on their Instagram and their phones. See half naked women. So men in the last few generations have been consumed by feminine energy, particularly black people, because our stats are just that.
Yeah.
And so the masculinity is starting to leave men. So when someone like Jesse Lee Peterson acts like that, guys like this really don't know how to take him because they're used to being consumed by women all the time.
All right, you guys, let us know what you think about that. That was amazing. Jesse Lee, again, his interviewing skills, y'all, something else. But let us know what you think, you guys. Leave some comments below. This guy was very buffoonish and typical. But yeah, let us know what you think. And that's it. We will see you guys in the next video. Bye.